solar plexus. It governs our ability to be confident and control of our lives. It relates to motivation, willpower, and vitality. Imbalance, confidence, warmth, determination, self-discipline, reliability, positive sense of self. Out of balance, low self-esteem, digestive issues, lack of confidence, fear, loss of control. Spend time near fire, explore qigong, eat fermented foods, ginger, turmeric root. Affirmation: I can manifest my dreams. I am empowered and successful in all my ventures. I think Jocko Willink he's like a U.S. military guy, Navy SEAL type. He said something like discipline equals freedom. And when I was in my solar plexus phase, I found David Goggins in during COVID in 2021, and I'm trapped in the house. I started running like 7 days a week, weightlifting. I was kind of a sports head back in high school and even post college for a little bit. I kind of got out of shape being in the office world. And I do believe this, you have to get your body right, just like Kriya Yoga with Yogananda. By being physical, you can't be spiritual in a way if your body's all messed up. You have to have some energy. If you're low energy, you're not going to have energy for a spiritual practice. If you have like a bad self body image when you think you're fat, you're not going to feel good about yourself. Like that's why people like to dress up, looking good, feeling good. Um, a solar plexus phase is like kind of getting your life together in worldly terms. You have to have, it's like the Jordan Peterson, clean your room. You have to get your life in order. And I remember during this time, I had like a perfectly clean front room, like vacuumed every day kind of thing, because I would do kind of yoga stretches after the run. And sometimes I'd have like kind of the Goggins S 1 to 2 hour stretch sessions. And I think it's important to go through this phase. It's kind of like the midlife crisis of the chakra system. You have to get through this phase. You have to get your life right. And reliability, positive sense of self. I think that's what self-respect is. I think Goggins talked a lot about that and Can't Hurt Me. Where it's like if you're breaking promises to yourself when you're like you were gonna work out and you don't, it's like you start creating this negative view of yourself. Like you can't even keep your own promises to yourself. That's what self-respect truly is. And out of balance, I do agree with the digestive issues because in our culture, especially in America, Europe and other countries don't allow some of the crap in their food that we allow. So the processed food can really hurt you. I remember Faraz, George St. Pierre's coach in the UFC, used to say like if he wanted to get fat, he could just eat a bunch of processed food. During like Ramadan, he would do that because they could only eat at night, so he would eat more of that to kind of just like build up the fat reserves. You'll see how big you get just eating the crappy American diet. And my life got a lot better when I started like listening to my body. Like my stomach would always bloat when I drank beer or ate wheat products. And one time, like me and my ex-wife were at a comedy show in Punchline, San Francisco, and I had like a Guinness and like a chicken sandwich. And like my stomach was just giant and it hurt afterwards. I started looking into like gluten intolerance. And, I just kind of continue that trend. Like now I don't eat anything that hurts my stomach. And if I do, I'm mentally prepared to suffer. It's like the karma. There's been should have been on the toilet. Like, this is my karma. Like it's like my stomach's hurt. I'm like dying. It's like, eating those foods that hurt you. Like now I have my diet is like simple poor people food, as Yash would say on Spiritual Renaissance. I like rice and beans and vegetables and mozzarella cheese. I didn't realize mozzarella cheese was probiotic until my brother told me about it. I'm like, oh, why is that? I kind of eat like a restrictive diet now, but it's my diet is easy on the digestive system. I found even like eating part of the reason I'm kind of more vegetarian now is I find if I eat giant hunks of meat like a steak, my body has a hard time processing it. Like, I think one of the boxers, Andy Ruiz, talks about that, where it's like it does the protein, like your body's heavy. It was like hard for the running, it's hard for the working out. Like now I find if I eat beef, it like must be hamburger because it's ground up. It's easy to digest, it's already broken up. And I actually prefer food well done, beef well done, because you get like a steak that's like medium or medium rare or rare. I kind of find you struggle to digest it because the proteins aren't cooked. They're not like partially, you're partially digesting before it goes down. And that's just my body. Everyone's body is different, but when you eat certain things, you feel tired. Like for me, if I eat like a very carby meal, like if I eat a pizza or something, I'm all like tired afterwards. I get all sleepy. It's like the siesta. I get the itis. Like there's like negative effects versus eat my normal diet. And I feel like with digestive issues, mentions here fermented foods. It's like you need more of a probiotic diet. I'm 40. You have to start eating in a way that it helps your body. I like fermented foods like kimchi or pickles, or at least once a day, I want something fermented. I also want fruit once a day, preferably like an apple because I find it cleans the teeth. There's like science on it that's abrasive. I've noticed my dentist appointments have been great ever since I started eating. Literally, that old saying, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. I eat like probably half an apple and a small apple at that a day. And I kind of have a breakfast of, I have like half an apple, Granny Smith, low sugar apple, uh, 2 to 3 mozzarella cheese sticks. And then I make a tonic, which Yosh talks about on his channel, which I live in a hot environment and I kind of found water wasn't doing enough. I do buy kind of like electrolyte drinks from time to time, but I kind of just make my own. I find if I put like just like a maybe like 4 tablespoons of milk into the water because it has the salt, it has the fat, it has other like minerals in it, and then I just fill the rest with water. It's it creates like a tonic in the morning, and I use lactose-free milk. So I'm kind of lactose-ish intolerant, so that helps digest the mozzarella. And I get like the carb from the apple, I get the protein, and each stick is like 7 grams. You can only take about 25 to 35 grams of protein at once. So, or I think it's like every 2 hours. So I kind of came up with this after years of experimenting. Like, the traditional morning breakfast of Americans, like this carby, sugary stuff isn't how most of the world eats. Like I had a Filipino coworker that grew up in the Philippines. She'd be like eating at 7 in the morning, like rice, chicken, vegetable, kind of like a bowl meal. And I asked her about it, and like she's like, yeah, because like I gotta get like I got like it's a busy day. We have a hard work. Like waiting till like noon to eat again, it's a long time. Like she wanted a real breakfast. And so that's kind of how I view my breakfast. Americans kind of have it a little right on like the bacon, eggs, and they have the hash. They kind of have the breakfast right, but the problem is it's like so much fat and so much grease and stuff. I want a low grease diet, especially because I've had gallbladder issues. I ate for many years very unhealthily, so so now my body's like doesn't really like greasy meals or like in moderation. And I kind of find a cheat day is good because if you eat clean all week, we're human. You can't be on like a strict diet 7 days a week. I've tried. You always break down. And so I kind of have a rule where it's like 6 days a week I eat only healthy. And then I get like a cheat day. I could eat all day, whatever I want. And I kind of found when you're eating healthy, when you on your cheat day, your stomach hurts really bad because you're like not used to eating that stuff all week. So initially you'll be like gorging, and then the next week you're like you remember what happened. So you kind of like even on your cheat day, you don't go completely bonkers. So, it's I feel like the solar plexus is like the practical chakra. It's like you get here by 40, like your metabolism slows down. You can't be the way you used to be. You need to be more balanced. And it mentions also um explore qi dong. I don't, that's I've never done that, but I looked it up. Like it's kind of like the Tai Chi stuff, kind of Kriya yoga. that makes sense too. Like meditation that's more active might work for more people. Even for me, I prefer to chant than to sit in meditation. I have to do so much sitting for my job. Like it gets boring. I still remember one time my ex-wife at we're married at the time brought me to this like Hindu temple, Abhavudi in Marin County, and I remember like we were there. I think we were there for like overnight for an all-day retreat or something like that, or was it all day? It was something overnight or all day. And like I remember we had to like it was just like meditation after meditation. I remember we were in like the front room area and I was meditating. I just had my like my head and my elbows were on my knees and my head was in my hands, like, oh my God. And like I didn't think anyone was really noticing. And then like my ex-wife like elbowed me like, if it's this bad, just like go outside. Like people people are feeling that. And I'm like, oh. Like, and then even like the proctor was like, oh, if like anyone, you need a break, like you can get like but that's the thing with the like the Kriya Yoga kind of stuff. I think it works better for us Americans because we view like sitting down doing nothing as lazy. We need to feel active. And even before I was into spirituality, when I would do runs, I'd always have good thoughts. Even the shower, like if I'm doing something, there's something that my mind is kind of singularly focused, I can have the good ideas and things like that. Spend time near fire is interesting. I haven't really done that. I've always enjoyed the fire, and I think it makes sense. We were cavemen and we had the fire and we didn't have TV. You would sit around the fire and talk, and the fire is safe and warm, and there's activity in the fire. It's like a TV. You can see stuff popping, there's things are changing. So, and I think also it's kind of like a fire is like so primordial. There's like a danger around it. You have to kind of be aware of it. You have to keep it going. So it's like, I think camping can be good. Getting away from the city, just living kind of more rustic lifestyle a little bit can be helpful. And mentions the fermented foods, ginger and turmeric. I do find like the root vegetables and things would go well. Like ginger can settle your stomach. Like I kind of find as I've gotten older, even I use kind of like a sugar-free whey isolate powder at night because when I was really working hard, I would always wake up in the middle of the night starving, and people were saying like at night you're in a protein deficit overnight, and like sometimes you don't want a giant meal before bed, and so I'd use Isopure, have a bunch of them, and just mix it with milk and drink that before bed. Um, Especially after a hard workout, because then it was like I'm getting my 25 grams of protein right before I go to sleep, and it can process overnight, and it's not something in my stomach that's going to keep me if you're laying down, it's not good to eat and then go right to bed because your digestion is kind of going to have gastric reflux kind of thing. So there's kind of like, and I learned that from there was a guy that used to do like survivalist stuff, and he used to say if you have very little food and you're bivouacking out in camping sort of thing, if you're low on food, eat the food right before you go to bed because it's easier to sleep because you can't go to sleep when you're hungry. So there is like a practicality of eating something right before bed, but it's like something light, I think is makes sense and something protein heavy, so and usually if I don't do the whey protein isolate sort of thing, I'll eat like a couple mozzarella cheese sticks right before bed because it kind of processes easy. And the affirmation again, I can manifest my dreams. I'm empowered and successful in all my ventures. I think you don't want to have the victim mindset. Kind of Goggins asked, you have to kind of like take life by the horns. You have to go for what you want. And I kind of feel like, the Jungian shadow stuff of, you know, up until 40, it's all research. Life begins at 40. I kind of feel like the solar plexus I've met people that kind of had good childhood. They're already there at like 14 years old. For me and my brother and a lot of people that kind of had weird childhoods, I kind of find you come into your own more towards like 30s, maybe late 20s, you start coming into your own a little more. But I don't believe you can get out of the solar plexus without a spiritual practice. Even for me, when I started doing the Goggin stuff, it brought me a long way, but I was stuck there for a long time. It wasn't solar plexus is like you're right on the cusp. You're like ready for a spiritual practice. I kind of feel like the solar plexus, you've cleaned your room, you've gotten your life in order, you know, you don't have a bunch of like burning fires in your life. You've kind of like you've gone through a midlife crisis already. You're kind of like ready to like for something new and kind of be calmer and you're not partying every weekend drinking with the boys sort of thing. Like you kind of throw away, even for myself, I threw away poker this year. I'm 40 years old, threw away poker a couple months ago. And you start discarding low value items in your life, things that you thought you needed, but they're just kind of like dumb stuff. I kind of feel like to move into the heart chakra, you have to throw away the baggage, whether that's from your relationships or work or life. You can't be carrying heavy stuff on. You kind of have to stand on your own.